Hey guys, I'm really excited to shoot this video today. I'm going to be answering all of the questions that you've been sending in over the past couple of weeks in reply to my Ask Katie video. So I've been getting questions by email, Twitter, and of course replies to that video, and I've got them all right here, so I'm going to be answering them now. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who sent in your questions. So the first one is from Tomb Raider Biz, and he wants to know, of the recent Tomb Raider games, which do you think had the most catchy and effective marketing campaign, and why? So I'm in Canada, so we don't really see really big marketing and advertising initiatives here, especially for video games. The US and the UK obviously have a much higher population than we do, so advertising dollars are really pumped into those two countries instead. But I googled Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld's campaigns before doing this video, just to make sure I hadn't missed anything, and it turns out we pretty much saw everything here for Underworld that everyone else got to see. So that was cool. So right there it shows that they've increased their reach, so that's really impressive. I saw the game trailer on TV several times at home. If I was at a restaurant, they had it everywhere, so they bought a lot of spots, which was cool. They had really good efforts with Allison as well, the new model. Because she was a gymnast, she was able to do more, so I think the shoots were more interesting than some of the other models. And GameSpot had a roadblock on their website. I didn't actually see it, but I can show it to you right now. Here it is here. So it was top banner, side banner, and it was interactive, so when the website loaded, you could click on Lara's grapple, and the whole site would collapse, and it would become more interactive that way, and you could watch the trailer. So that was cool. They definitely tried to get more creative and increase their advertising and marketing initiatives, so I'll give them a thumbs up for that. My only complaint, I think, would have been their tagline, "Seeing is believing." It's been done, you know, I think they could have spent a little bit more time on their copywriting, but other than that, out of those three games, I think Underworld would have been my favorite, and thanks for the question, I really like that one. Next is from Steffi020397. Hi Katie, it's a very good idea to do the video with answers. I hope we can ask you more than one question, so here are mine. How did you discover Tomb Raider, your Tomb Raider life story, and which level in Tomb Raider 3 is your favorite? So how I discovered Tomb Raider, I was 12 years old, so 12 years ago I was in a store looking at game demos, and picked up a copy for Tomb Raider 1. Had never heard about it, knew nothing about the game, and read that it was a third-person action-adventure title. So very different from games like Quake and Doom that I'd been playing before that. So I thought I'd give it a go, and really 5 minutes into it I was hooked. It was nothing like I'd ever played before. Tons of fun, and you know, that's how it all started. And as far as my life story with Tomb Raider, I'm going to post a video reply to this video, because I've already done a video that kind of answers that question, so check that out. And as far as which level in Tomb Raider 3 is my favorite, that is a tough question. Probably Nevada or Malibu Gorge, I'd say. Nevada because of the quad bike, you know, that thing was just awesome. Everybody knows that's my favorite vehicle. And the level itself, you know, climbing and traversing everywhere was a lot of fun. It was a huge open environment, so really enjoyed that. And Malibu Gorge because the kayak was tons of fun. It was also very difficult. But what I liked about that level was you could do it on foot or kayak, so you could pick between the two. And we really haven't seen a level like that since, so that's amazing level design. So out of those two, let's go with Nevada. So next question is from He Loves Her 14. What's your favorite Tomb Raider? And Jonathan also wanted to know this question as well. And do you think Crystal did a good job taking over the series? And what's your view on the way Crystal is taking over the Tomb Raider franchise now, example, open world and M rating? So my favorite Tomb Raider is Tomb Raider 3. It's kind of always been a toss-up between 3 and 5, but 3 I think wins for sure. The number of levels, how big the levels were, the puzzles, the music, all the vehicles, being able to choose which section you wanted, you know, after completing each one, and the story, I absolutely love that game, and the levels just being so big and open and taking forever to explore, we don't really have that right now, so I miss that, and I think they did a really good job with that game. So as far as Crystal taking over the series, first I'd just like to say I'm a big fan of the classics, and they're always going to be my favorite. When I found out that Core Design was no longer going to be making Tomb Raider games, I didn't think we needed a new company. I didn't think we needed a complete overhaul, a reboot of the series. So it was upsetting and shocking, and I'm sure you guys were surprised too when you found out. So as far as them taking over, Legend, I'd say, it was a good start, but I really don't think they did their homework, so to say. To fully understand Lara and who she is and what made her who she is, you really need to play all of the games and go through that whole experience, as well as reading the books published by Core Design. So, I don't think they did that. You can't really just play one of them and say, yeah, I know who Lara is. So, it was a good start, but, it was kind of disappointing to sort of lose who the character, really was. Anniversary was a remake, so I'll skip over that. Underworld, it followed the storyline from Legend, but I think they got it a little bit more. It seemed more familiar, and it reminded me more of the classics in a way. So I think, they were trying to delve a little bit deeper into figuring out who this character is. So I think they did a good job with that. As far as Tomb Raider 9, I'm really looking forward to that one because, we're getting another reboot, which kind of seems monotonous at this point, reboot after reboot. But I think it's good, we kind of need it right now. And it looks like they're really building this character up from scratch, so that's good. They can shape everything about her. As far as the open world and M rating, the M rating I think is fine. We've all been playing this game for 11 to 15 years. I've showed you the statistics from my Tomb Raider community survey. So, we've grown up with it. I think it's ready for an M rating. I think it'll be a good thing. As far as the open world, Carl Stewart actually said it's not really so much an open world. It's, you just can't go from one side of the island to the other. But from what I've heard, I think it's, it's going to be a good game, so I'm looking forward to that. Thanks for your questions. So the next question is from Q Awkward Noises. Dear Katie, I would like to have your opinion on Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness. What you liked about it, what you disliked, and what your overall opinion is. So my overall opinion of The Angel of Darkness was that it was a fantastic game. I really loved it. I think Core Design, was taking the right step forward. They were taking a bunch of risks, and I think it really was an amazing game. What I liked best was probably the story. To this date, we haven't even had a story that's come close to that. The writer was so talented, and I'm so impressed that they were able to weave in the classic stories into the Angel of Darkness story. Usually an outsourced writer has their own opinion of Lara and what has happened, and they kind of want to change that. So I really admire that they were able to stay true to the Tomb Raider series and, not change facts about what had happened. I also really liked the music. We were given such a treat by having the London Symphony Orchestra play the entire score for us. It doesn't beat a man and a keyboard any day. So we really, it was a good game really for Core Design to leave with because there were just so many good qualities about it, and having the symphony play the whole score, you don't see that in games anymore. They don't want to go to that expense or, the time and effort, so I really applaud them for doing that. That was absolutely amazing. I also really liked the graphics. They really upped it compared to the other games. Complete overhaul there. Absolutely adored it. What I didn't like, probably the fact I think the media killed the game before it even came out. There was such negative press because the game had been delayed and delayed and delayed, and people, were fed up waiting, so they bashed the game before it even came out. So because of that, I think it destroyed what the game could have been in most people's minds. I make my own reviews. I don't listen to stuff like that, and if you put that aside, it really was a fantastic game. As far as bugs, I think, I ran into a couple textures that were missing, but nothing that stopped gameplay or anything like that. I also liked that we could converse with other characters and choose what you wanted to say. The only thing I didn't like was, depending on what you chose, it really didn't affect gameplay. But, with that said, it was a new concept that they had just brought in, so it would have had tons of room for improvement. So overall, fantastic game, loved it. Next question is from Scarlet Cow. What's your favorite Lara quote from the games? Probably in Tomb Raider 5 when she says, not to lay a finger on you, remember silly? Anyway, busy girl, got to go. That's when Pierre was hanging from the cliff and he was asking for help, and she reminded him of their little agreement that they had. So very clever and witty, Lara as usual, and being a pain in the ass. And another one was in Tomb Raider 4 when she says, I make my own luck. So probably the first one's my absolute favorite. The next question is from A Generation Lost TM as well as Daryl Kerr. Who is your favorite character in the Tomb Raider series besides Lara, and why? Okay, this one is super easy for me. It's Zip from Tomb Raider Chronicles. I thought he was such a fun character. He was hilarious. We bantered and bickered back and forth with Lara in the last couple levels. He was so funny. I thought he was great, and I loved him so much that I wrote a story, The Strenuous Escapade. It was kind of, a mirrored adventure similar to the one in Chronicles. So I thought he was absolutely great. They worked so well together, and they're both very clever and witty, so it was fun to, have that bantering during gameplay. Great question. So next question is from Hunter.